Good morning. Let's gather with a song out of the Gray Hymn Book, hymn number 155, Circle Round for Freedom. You'll also be able to find the lyrics posted up on the screen if you'd rather watch the lyrics on the screen. And if you're singing with us online, you can find the lyrics posted in the chat. I invite you to stand or sit, whichever way you feel the most comfortable participating. Let's sing a couple times through this great hymn.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia UU congregation on this almost first day of spring. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Janet Spencer, and I use she, her pronouns. I am a member of the Worship Arts team, and I'm especially glad to be celebrant today because I'm really glad to be here at OUUC with all of you because I've been in the process of moving house for the past month. And I still have a garage full of boxes. I appreciate the offers of help that people in the congregation have made. Thank you for caring. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Geer, Reverend Sara Lewis, the Director of Community and Faith Development, and Troy Fisher, our music director. Here's a few things that you should know about our service today. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, you can see subtitles on the screen in front if you want to. We are a multi-generational community, and we value our young ones. Kids, babies, and teens are welcome in the sanctuary. We have fluffy chairs in front so you can be almost as comfortable as you would be at home on Zoom. There is also a nursery here and a story time program for children in the classroom ring. We're grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning. Thank you to the ushers and the greeters, the kitchen crew, and all who contribute in so many ways, especially the tech team. After the service, everyone will have a chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Mary and Reverend Sara. For those online, we invite you to go into the breakout rooms for virtual coffee chat. For those in person, please feel free to stay for coffee and fellowship in the Commons. At 11:30 after the coffee chat, please return to the main Zoom room or the sanctuary for a forum on OUUC Covenant Project with Reverend Mary and members of the Behavioral Covenant Writing Team. Next Sunday after the service, Melanie Ransom's talk show returns with guest Marie Ahrensmeyer. And be sure to join us today at 3 p.m. for a spring equinox event. All ages are invited to join us outdoors at OUUC and to celebrate the arrival of spring with seed starting and intentional setting. There's so many things happening at Olympia UU, from a variety of groups to classes and Thursday community dinners and spiritual practice. Check out the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the most up-to-date information. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together. This morning and every Sunday morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. Please join me as we light our chalices together with the words of Kiakiali Bordner. Come together again. Gather in love. Light the fire of hope. Build the foundation. Come together again. Gather in truth. Light the fire of freedom. Build the entryways. Continue together again. Gather in community. Light the fire of the future. Build the shelter.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Reverend Mary, and I use she, her pronouns. Welcome to the Sunday morning ritual of worship. Between the bookends of lighting a chalice and extinguishing a chalice, we gather together to hold up that which we most value: interdependence and generosity, pluralism and equity, transformation and justice, love. In this sacred space, we open our hearts and our minds. We hold open the possibility for apology and repair, for recharging and for challenge, for feeling and for being. We celebrate and we mourn. In this holy moment, we whisper and we shout, I am here for you. We are here together. Come, let us worship together.
And let's sing together again out of the gray hymn book, hymn number 101, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. And if you're joining us online, the lyrics are posted in the chat. I invite you to sit or stand, however you're most comfortable singing. My life flows on in endless song, above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn, that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music
morning. It's me. I'm Carmel Shields. I use she, her pronouns, and I remain your relentless stewardship captain. I'm using those verbs that, I got you. I got you. Okay. Today we're showing part 3 of our inspirational videos. And I want to just remind you, there's only 2 weeks left of the Extending Our Reach Stewardship Pledge Drive. And we still need everyone who is touched by this faith community to financially support us this coming year. Our goal in 23-24 is to pay our staff a fair wage, is to continue to reach those members online, and to address the needs of our larger community. We can't rely on a few to support the many of us who benefit from this congregation. To date, we have 75 of our members and friends who have pledged, for a total of $240,818.75. All right. Thank you, 75-cent person. I love you. I love you. I love doing that, too. I love throwing change in the share the plate. I don't know, there's something about that. Okay. Again, there will be a table in the Commons, and the folks who are on the stewardship committee with our green beads will be there to give you information, answer your questions, and to accept your pledge. So don't delay. Please pledge today.
Good morning, OU.
My name is Karen Landsberg, and I came to OUC a little over 7 years ago. I was raised Unitarian, so I've always considered myself Unitarian, but haven't attended church or been a member of a church as an adult. I was starting to take care of my dad down in Corvallis, Oregon, and saw the help that he was getting from the fellowship down there. And I said, I want to be a member of a community like that. And so I started coming to service, and then fairly quickly went through the new member orientation and joined the church.
My name is Joe Joy. Susan and I first came to OUC back in the 80s. Our kids were asking questions about religion, God, that sort of thing that we couldn't answer. So we had been married by a UU minister, but had not had any kind of connection with the UU church, really. But we thought, well, you know, looking at different religions, I had been raised Catholic, she had been raised somewhat Presbyterian. So we looked up the UU church, and it was it was a fellowship in Tumwater, and we joined in the 80s with, at that time, two kids, Megan and Alice. And that's how it all began.
My name is Dieter Jacobs, and I first came to OUC as a child. I attended in Tumwater at the old original church, so I have all these old memories of the church there, and I grew up in the church, and we were fairly active, and I remember my dad helping out with some of the remodeling and cutting down trees, and I was pretty active in the church and really enjoyed it. And then I went away to college down in Portland, and I ended up living down there for about 20 years. And then moved back here about 8 years ago to the new building, and decided I wanted to start getting involved. Now my kids were active, I was coaching soccer and doing all this, so I kind of slowly reintegrated myself and came by and visited and realized this was still the wonderful community that I remembered. It was a different place, and some same faces, but a lot of new faces. But the Spirit was here, and I said, you know, I remember this Spirit, and I can see reminders of it around me physically and spiritually, regularly.
At first it was primarily for our children that we were doing this, and so we really appreciated that piece was being taken care of for us in terms of religious education, and then we became involved in the religious education program, being teachers and such, and through that process we were able to develop some very, very tight friendships with friends here at OUC.
The difference OUC has made in my life is it's a place where I feel like I come and I know people and I'm known. It's people who I share values with, where we're working together on something larger. It's a place where I guess I'm part of something bigger than myself, which I appreciate.
We lost a daughter 10 years ago. That was difficult. That was, I have never been one to want to bother people. They came and bothered me by being so generous, and it taught me that you need to open up to the generosity of people, and it's something I'll never forget.
This is such a generous and giving group of people here, this community of our church. It encourages and inspires me to give more of myself, both here at the church and in other places in the community. Seeing that commitment of folks, it's also modeling the world I want to live in, that I see other people doing, and I really appreciate that.
You know, it has been a big part of our life in terms of community that we really cherish, and are it's kind of a foundation for our network of friends and network of people we care about and things we care about. So we feel that we should support it.
I give to OUUC because it's important to me that it exists, and I know that it needs money to run and to function. It's pretty basic element of keeping any organization going is having the funds to pay the staff, to keep the lights on, buy the computer equipment, keep that running. We just can't do everything with volunteer work, and so we need finances to keep the basics of the church running, and it's important to me, and so I'm willing to contribute to that.
I've chosen to give a portion of my income, what I can afford, to the church because this community matters to me. This is a great group of people. We have a positive impact in Olympia, and I've known that. I grew up here. I moved back here. I'm still part of this community, and I see the wonderful things that we do. And you got to keep the lights on. You got to keep the lights on. You got to heat the place. You've got to have a place to come for a community to gather. It's hard to gather if you're not feeling safe and comfortable and warm, and you don't have that ability to think about and spend time together and break bread together, and laugh together and learn together, maybe even cry together.
Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves by making an offering to OUUC. The offering collected here does two things. It supports the ongoing work of OUUC, which is also supported by your regular pledges. This offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our Share the Plate organization for March and April is Hands-on Personal Empowerment, HOPE. This is the message about their work.
Good morning, OUC. Thanks for having me. My name is Rachel, and I'm the Executive Director for the Hope Garden Project, located in Shelton, Washington. Hope engages Mason County youth to become empowered, productive members of their community and the world they will inherit through garden-based education. Currently, we run 4 different programs. During the school year, we offer programming at the middle school level where youth learn about health, sustainability, and steward the garden located at Evergreen Elementary. We also work with the Life Skills High School program where older youth living with neurodivergence get to learn how to build, grow, and maintain the garden located outside of their classroom. They also learn how to make healthy recipes that they can do at home. Through an agricultural model, the Older Youth Employment Program is designed to offer young adults the opportunity to have their first job experience in a safe and supportive environment, while at the same time exposing them to nutrition, health, and cooking. By creating opportunities for youth to gain skills in communication, leadership, and team building, they learn how to be the kind of humans they want to be. We offer this program during the school year and during the summer. Our school year program is 2 afternoons a week, and our high school program during the summer is 8 weeks long for 5 hours a day, 3 days a week. This is our most intensive program and the one that is the most rewarding and exciting. But all of our programs are really wonderful, and we wouldn't be able to do it without support, like the kind of support that we are getting from you all. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You can participate in the offering by making a donation online through the church website or by texting the number that appears on your screen. You can also mail a check to Olympia UU or place your offering in one of the baskets that will be passed by the ushers. As we share our gifts, may we remember that collecting the offering is a ritual reminder of that form of love that we call generosity. Thank you.
Oh please restore us and grant us sweet salvation. I will hear what is proclaimed, and I hear peace. Kindness and truth shall meet, justice and peace shall kiss. Oh please restore us and grant us sweet salvation. Here is the fast I choose, to loosen the bonds of the oppressed and break their chains. Let righteousness and justice go out before you. Your call will be heard. Oh please restore us and grant us sweet salvation. Near indeed is salvation to those who call. Listen and hear their prayers. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and justice will rain down from heaven. You will be guided on a righteous path. You will shine forth like the dawn. You will be called repairers of broken walls, making justice straight to the path of love. Oh please restore us and grant us sweet salvation.
Thank you for your generous gifts in all the forms that you share them. We came together this morning sharing everything that is in our lives, and there's a lot right now. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drumbeat as we share today. It reminds us that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. So right now, let's just take a deep breath together, in and out, as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and our community today. Fred Kellogg shares that his aunt, Joan Kellogg Renz, died on February 27th at her home in Waterbury, Connecticut. She was 88 years old. Fred was very close to his aunt. She was like a second mother to him. Fred and Beatrice will be attending her memorial service in Waterbury on April 28th. Fred, we send you and your family our love and care as you mourn. Beth Johnson and Lee Doyle ask for prayers for their friend and neighbor, Carol Nelson, who is in the hospital with severe health issues. Carol, may your breathing ease as you know you are held in the love of this community. Anita McIntosh asks for our prayers and good wishes for her husband, Bob, who had triple bypass surgery on Thursday. He is recovering and healing. Anita and Bob offer their gratitude for all of the prayers and healing thoughts that they've received since Bob had his heart attack about 10 days ago. Bob and Anita, we are holding you in love as you heal. And last, this week marks the spring equinox, the day when daylight and nighttime are in balance as the days grow longer and we move toward the summer solstice. May we take a moment to notice that the earth is awakening, and may we each do the same. For those online, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. This is a time to share all that you wish, joys and sorrows and everything else. Those in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen. And for those in person today, I invite you to come forward if there is something you would like to bring into this community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Please come up by the side aisle and return by the center aisle. Now let's hear the heartbeat of our community as we reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. We'll place a stone in the water for all that has been shared from those online. And one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. Please be in whatever way is comfortable for you for breathing and meditation. Let's harmonize our bodies and our breath with a breathing meditation. So just take a moment now to notice how you are and how your body is. Are there any places that are tight or tense? Turn your attention to those places and notice if they change. And as we notice, we appreciate all of the sounds in the sanctuary, the stillness and the sounds of our young ones. You may close your eyes or soften your gaze. And as you breathe in, I invite you to lift your shoulders toward your ears. And hold your shoulders there for a moment, and then as you breathe out, lower your shoulders. And let's do that again. Breathe in and lift. Breathe out and lower. And once more, breathe in and lift. Breathe out and lower. And I invite you to continue that practice as we hold a moment of silence together.
I invite you to remain seated and let's sing together this meditation on breathing. You can find the lyrics posted up on the screen. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in
Today we enter into a ritual of lamentations, mourning together for the collective and specific harms of racism in our country. Depending on the identities that you hold, you may have a different relationship to these harms, but all of us today are invited to mourn, to grieve, to lament. Lamentations are passionate expressions of grief and sorrow. And in the Bible, the book of Lamentations tells of the grief felt by the people after the fall of Jerusalem in 586 before the Common Era. To lament is to publicly mourn. Today, we mourn together.
These words are from Brian Stevenson, founder of the Equal Justice Initiative and the author of Just Mercy. Sometimes we're fractured by the choices we make. Sometimes we're shattered by things we would never have chosen. But our brokenness is also the source of our common humanity, the basis for our shared search for comfort, meaning, and healing. Our shared vulnerability and imperfection nurtures and sustains our capacity for compassion.
The harms of racism are multifaceted and complex, and there is so much that we could mourn. For today, we have chosen to focus on one subset of individuals who have been harmed. We focus on African American women killed by police. We are using the work of #SayHerName, which calls for recognition of Black women who experience both racism and gendered violence, and who are too often forgotten in the narrative. You can learn more about Say Her Name at the link we've put in the order of service. We hear the names of too many Black men who are killed by police. Black women are too often unnamed and so unknown. We will read the names of 40 women who have been killed by police or who died in police custody between 2015 and 2020. As we mourn these specific women, we also invite lament and grief and mourning for all the others that we cannot name today, that we do not name today, all the many, many victims of racism and racist systems in our nation now and throughout our history. The system of policing is only one of many racist systems.
We are inviting the particular and the specific, as well as the large and general, into our hearts today. If you are here in the sanctuary, you were asked to pick up a card on your way in. If you did not receive a card, please hold your hand in the air now or raise your hand so the usher can bring you a card. If you are on Zoom today, there will be a list of names posted in the chat. And we invite you to pick one of those names from the list and hold that specific person in your heart. This is an invitation to connect to one person's life, one person's story. As we read out names in a moment, everyone is invited to listen to all the names, and especially for the name of the person they are holding in their heart. To hold that one person in your heart as a specific lament, even as we also lament so many more.
So many people have lost their lives because of racism. We cannot say all of their names. And so today we lift up the names of 40 Black women killed by police because women of color are too often forgotten. In lifting up these names, we also remember all the others who have lost their lives, Let us remember.
Our history as a nation includes so many wrongs. From the genocide and theft of these lands from the indigenous peoples, to slavery, to lynching, to the internment of Japanese Americans, to children put in cages on our southern border. These are huge events, and yet the people who suffered from them were individuals, the same as you or me. Let us remember.
Let us remember. Priscilla Slater,
Breonna Taylor,
Tatiana Jefferson,
Crystal Ragland,
Pamela Turner,
Nina Adams,
Latasha Walton,
Brittany McLean,
Angel DeCarlo,
April Webster,
Tamika Simpson,
Lawana Phillips,
Darisha Blackwell,
Cynthia Fields,
LaShonda Anderson,
Shukri Ali Saeed,
DeCynthia Clemens,
Crystalline Barnes,
Geraldine Townsend,
Sandy Guardiola,
India N. Nelson,
Charlena Siobhan Lyles,
Johnny Black,
Altaria Woods,
Morgan London Rankins,
Deborah Danner,
Corinne Gaines,
Jessica Williams,
Darisha Armstrong,
LaRonda Sweat,
India M. Beatty,
Kisha Michael,
Sala Ridgway,
Gina McMillan,
Betty Jones,
Barbara Dawson,
Markeisha McMillan,
India Kager,
Riddell Jones,
Raynette Turner. Let us remember.
let us remember.
Please join me in a litany of lamentation. I will read a line and you will respond together with the words, "We bear witness to our shared sorrows. We cry out in lament." These words will be on a slide in the front of the screen and in the chat for those online. For each life cut short by acts of racism, for those touched by violence motivated by hate and fear, we bear witness to our shared sorrows. We cry out in lament. For every person mistreated, brutalized, denied their freedom, or killed by a system of policing and incarceration that bears out patterns of bias and racism, we bear witness to our shared sorrows. We cry out in lament. For every person whose life has been made shorter by bias in our medical care system, in a nation where Black mothers die in childbirth at a rate twice that of white mothers, and people of color face similar gaps in outcomes for so many other health conditions, we bear witness to our shared sorrows. We cry out in lament. For all the missing and murdered Indigenous women, for all whose story was not met with the justice and care and attention it deserved, we bear witness to our shared sorrows. We cry out in lament. For all whose lives have been made more difficult, more impoverished, and more desperate because of racialized and generational patterns of poverty and lack of opportunity, we bear witness to our shared sorrows. We cry out in lament. For these wrongs and so many others, which deny our shared humanity and inherent worth and dignity, we bear witness to our shared sorrows. we cry out in lament. Our cries join with the cries of so many others, all who sorrow, all who lament. Let us now join with them in spirit in a moment of silence.
We invite you now to offer an embodied prayer or prayerful practice as you hold in your heart the Black woman who has died of racism and who you have chosen to honor and name today. For those online, we invite you to the embodied prayer of your choice. It might be breathing or stretching or shaking it out or some other kind of movement. We encourage you into some kind of movement, intentional movement of your body and spirit, because we know our bodies hold our memories and our grief. For those on site, we invite you to come forward as you wish to either light a candle or drop a glass bead in the water as you hold in your heart the Black woman who has died of racism and who you have chosen to name and honor today. Let us bear witness to our grief and to the grief of our country. Let us remember. We will place one more glass bead in the water for all those who have died of racism, those named and unnamed. And we will light one more candle for all those who have died of racism, all those named and unnamed. Let us remember.
In this month, where our spiritual theme is commitment, let us take a breath now and recommit. Recommit ourselves to the work of anti-racism, the work of creating the beloved community, the work of bending the arc toward justice. For those in the sanctuary, on the memorial cards, there is a space for writing down your commitment. For those on Zoom, if you have something nearby that you want to write on, that is lovely. Or for everyone, you can also simply choose to make your commitment in your own heart right now. What are you called to do? What is your next growing edge? What is the tug of your heart pulling you toward? To the best of your ability now, knowing that your words do not have to be perfect, and that the work of commitment is chosen again and again and yet again. Write down or simply promise silently to yourself what you commit to today. We will pause now as we all have time to make our commitment. Let us hold these commitments in our hearts tenderly, knowing that even as we grieve, we also love. Even as we mourn, we also move toward a new future together.
Would you please join me in the spirit of prayer? This is a prayer for While in the Struggle by Margalie Belizaire. Spirit of light and love, spirit of resistance, spirit of generosity, that which serves as our conscience in this work, that we do to dismantle white supremacy, to empower the marginalized, to insist that Black lives matter. We have been angered. We have been saddened. We have been pushed to the brink once more. We are also inspired and seem resolved to do better this time, to not simply get to the other side of this moment, but to get there morally healthier, to get to a safer space for Black bodies. Spirit, help us to understand that we each have a role in justice work, for our liberations are tied to one another's. Give us the clarity of mind to know what our individual part is in the struggle, that there are many ways to protest injustice. Help us to find our way and to commit to it. Spirits, we ask for guidance. Send us strength and endurance. Help us to give our all to this and hold nothing back, for precious lives depend on it. We will be imperfect. Rest assured that we will mess up over and over and over again, and we must do it anyway. May we summon the courage to tear down the system of injustice and get busy creating a world community with justice for all. May it be so. Amen. Let's just take a moment to breathe in this silence.
Let's join together in singing There Is More Love Somewhere. You can find the lyrics up on the screen in front of you or posted in the chat. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more
If you are online and have a chalice or candle, please join us as we extinguish our chalice with these words from the Reverend Maureen Killeran. This is the message of our faith.
To act with passion in the face of injustice.
To love with courage in the midst of life's pain.
This is the meaning of our chalice flame.
May it empower our hearts until we are together again.
Let's join together in singing our unison benediction.